Look at a pyramid long enough, and your brain starts asking the wrong question. How did they do that without machines? No engines, no steel cranes, no trucks, drills, or laser levels. Just stone, wood, rope, copper, mud, water, and thousands of human bodies moving in rhythm. But the real answer is far stranger. Ancient builders were not missing technology. They were using a different kind of technology. One built from simple tools, patient planning, and a deep understanding of force before force had a scientific name. Your modern world teaches you to look for the machine. Your ancestors looked for the principle. A machine is only a trick that makes nature do part of the work for you, and ancient builders were very good at finding those tricks. The first secret was not strength, it was direction. A single human body cannot lift a giant stone straight up, but that same body can drag it sideways, roll it over a log, tilt it around an edge, or move it a tiny distance again and again until the impossible begins to look ordinary. That is the hidden story behind many ancient wonders. Not magic, not aliens, not lost super technology. Just clever people refusing to fight nature head-on. They changed the angle. Think about the pyramid builders at Giza. Your eyes see huge blocks stacked high into the sky, so your brain imagines the hardest part must have been lifting. But for much of the work, the real problem may have been sliding. Egyptologist Mark Lenner spent years studying the Giza Plateau, the worker settlements, the stone quarries, and the marks left by ancient construction. His work helped show something easy to miss. The pyramids were not built by a tiny group of mysterious priests. They were built by organized crews, fed, housed, trained, and coordinated like a massive human machine. That may sound less exciting than a secret device, but it is more powerful, because the greatest tool at Giza may have been organization. Imagine your ancestors cutting limestone near the pyramid itself. Imagine teams pulling blocks across packed ground on wooden sledges. Imagine another group preparing the path ahead. Imagine food, water, ropes, replacement tools, ramps, and orders all arriving when needed. One block was not the miracle. The system was the miracle. And inside that system were tools so simple that your modern brain almost looks past them. A sledge is just a platform, but under a giant stone, it becomes a machine. A ramp is just a slope, but against gravity, it becomes a way to turn lifting into walking. A rope is just twisted fiber, but in many hands, it turns scattered human effort into one shared pull. Why does that matter? Because ancient builders did not need one impossible force. They needed many small forces pointing in the same direction. One famous wall painting from the tomb of Jehuti-Hotep shows a huge statue being pulled on a sledge by rows of workers. At the front, a person appears to pour liquid on the ground. For a long time, that detail seemed almost decorative, but modern experiments suggest it may have been practical. Physicist Daniel Bohn and his team studied how wet sand changes friction, which is the resistance that makes sliding hard. Their research showed that a small amount of water can make sand firmer and reduce the force needed to pull a heavy object across it. Too dry, and the sand piles up. Too wet, and it turns soft again. But just damp enough, the grains stick together and behave like a better road. That is not a glowing ancient power tool. It is smarter than that. It is physics hiding in mud. Your ancestors may not have used the modern word friction, but they could see what happened when the ground changed. They could test it. They could remember it. They could teach it. That is how technology begins. Not with a textbook. With someone noticing that a heavy thing moves easier today than it did yesterday. The same idea appears in stone cutting. When you picture ancient tools, you may imagine weak copper chisels bouncing uselessly off hard rock. But that picture is too simple. Experimental archaeologist Dennis Stocks tested ancient Egyptian tools by recreating them and using them on stone. His work showed that copper saws, copper tubes, sand abrasive, dolerite pounding stones, and patient labor could shape materials that seem impossible at first glance. The copper did not always cut the stone by itself. The sand did much of the cutting. Tiny grains of quartz, trapped under a saw or drill, scraped away stone bit by bit. The tool held the sand in place. The worker supplied movement. Time did the rest. That is the part your modern brain struggles with. Modern machines make results appear quickly, so slowness feels like weakness. But ancient builders often traded speed for certainty. A hole drilled slowly is still a hole. A surface ground flat for weeks is still flat. A stone moved one hand length at a time still arrives. Could you do work that way? Your phone trains you to expect instant response. Your ancestors lived in a world where progress could be measured in scratches, chips, grooves, and footsteps. That does not make them primitive. It makes them patient in a way your world rarely rewards. There was another secret tool: measurement. A pyramid is not impressive only because it is big. A mountain is big. A pile of stones can be big. A pyramid is impressive because it is big and controlled. The sides align. The base is planned. The angle repeats. The shape holds its meaning from a distance. That requires measuring tools. A plumb bob is just a weight hanging from a string. But because gravity always pulls straight down, it gives a builder a vertical line. A level can be made with water. Because water settles flat, it can show whether 2 points match in height. A set square can create a right angle. A stretched rope can mark a straight line. A knotted rope can repeat distances. These tools look humble, but they turn the invisible rules of the world into something the human hand can follow. Your ancestors did not need a screen to show alignment. They had gravity, they had water, they had the sky. And the sky mattered. Ancient Egyptian monuments often show careful orientation. Scholars have debated the exact methods, but one strong possibility is that builders used stars to find true directions. The sky was not just decoration. It was a measuring instrument spread over the whole night. Look up, mark the movement, repeat the observation, and the heavens become a tool. That idea may feel strange because your modern world separates nature from technology. But for ancient builders, nature was the technology. Gravity gave vertical. Water gave level. Stars gave direction. Sand gave cutting power. Ramps changed lifting into walking. Levers changed small movement into large force. The lever is one of the simplest and most dangerous ideas in human history. A stick under a stone, a support point nearby, a downward push. That is all. But place the support point correctly, and a small push can tilt something enormous. Later Greek writers connected the lever to Archimedes, the mathematician famous for explaining how levers work. The principle is simple in plain English. The farther your hand is from the support point, the more power your push can have at the other end. That does not let one person toss a pyramid block into the air. It lets a person raise one edge, then wedge it, then raise it again, then wedge it again. A giant movement becomes a stack of tiny movements. This is the ancient builder's mindset. Never ask how to defeat the weight all at once. Ask how to make the weight lose one tiny argument at a time. You can see the same logic in many places. At Stonehenge, huge sarsen stones and smaller blue stones were moved, shaped, and raised long before engines. The exact transport methods are still debated, and the distances involved were real. But the basic tool family was familiar. Wooden sledges, rollers, ropes, levers, prepared tracks, and coordinated labor. Again, the wonder is not that one magical device did everything. The wonder is that simple devices can combine. A roller reduces dragging. A rope organizes pulling. A lever lifts an edge. A pit helps guide a standing stone upright. A team chant can help bodies pull together. Your ancestors turned rhythm into power. That may be hard to see from a photograph of a monument because the photograph removes the noise. No shouting, no sweating, no creaking rope, no foreman watching the angle, no workers resetting logs, no person with sore hands checking whether the stone shifted. The final monument looks silent. The building process was alive. And it was social. Modern people often imagine tools as objects: a hammer, a crane, a drill. But in the ancient world, a tool could also be a crew. A group pulling together is stronger than the same people pulling randomly. A trained team is stronger than a crowd. A shared plan is stronger than muscle. This is why ancient wonders tell you as much about society as engineering. Someone had to quarry the stone. Someone had to make the rope. Someone had to feed the workers. Someone had to repair sledges. Someone had to measure the angle. Someone had to decide when the next block moved. Without that network, the stone stays in the ground. So the hidden machine was not only wooden and stone, it was human. That does not mean the work was easy or harmless. Large ancient projects could involve harsh labor, political power, and deep inequality. Some workers may have been skilled and respected. Some may have had little choice. The truth depends on the place, the period, and the project. But reducing ancient building to brute force misses the real lesson. Brute force alone wastes energy. Engineering saves it. Roman builders understood this in another way. They used arches, vaults, cranes, pulleys, and concrete to make structures that lasted for centuries. Roman concrete was not the same as modern concrete. It often used volcanic ash, lime, water, and stones to make a material that could harden into a strong mass. In some marine structures, chemical reactions with seawater helped make the material unusually durable over time. That does not mean the Romans had modern chemistry. It means they had recipes that worked, and generations refined them. A recipe is technology. So is a scaffold. So is a mold. So is a pulley. A pulley changes the direction of a pull. Add more pulleys, and a heavy load can become easier to lift, though the rope must travel farther. That trait is everywhere in ancient building. Less force, more distance. Less speed, more control. Again, the same pattern appears. Ancient tools did not erase effort. They rearranged it. Your modern machines still do this. A car does not destroy distance. It burns fuel to move through it faster. An elevator does not destroy gravity. It uses motors, cables, counterweights, and structure to manage it. A crane does not make steel weightless. It turns force, balance, and material strength into controlled motion. The difference is that modern machines hide the principle inside metal boxes. Ancient tools leave the principle exposed. That is why they feel mysterious. You can look at a wooden sledge and think, that is too simple. You can look at a pyramid and think, that is too complex. Your brain struggles to connect the two, but history lives in that connection. Simple things, repeated with precision, can create complex results. A brick is simple. A city is not. A word is simple. A law is not. A footstep is simple. A migration is not. A pull on a rope is simple. A pyramid is not. This is the counterintuitive truth behind ancient wonders. They were not built because ancient people had tools that looked futuristic. They were built because ancient people understood how to multiply simple tools through planning. The high technology was not always the object. It was the method. It was knowing where to place the ramp, when to wet the sand, how to twist the rope, how to sharpen the tool, how to measure the line, how to divide the crew, how to repeat a task until the task became a monument. And this is where the past reaches into your life. Your world is full of machines, but your brain still loves shortcuts that look like magic. One app promises to replace discipline. One gadget promises to replace skill. One hack promises to replace time. But ancient builders whisper a colder truth. Most impossible things are not solved by one secret. They are solved by the right small actions repeated longer than comfort allows. Your ancestors knew something your world keeps forgetting. A simple tool is not weak when it is used with patience. A small force is not small when it is organized. A slow method is not primitive when it works. The pyramid does not ask you to believe in magic. It asks you to notice the power of ordinary things used with extraordinary consistency. And maybe that is why ancient wonders still bother your brain. They expose a modern illusion. You think progress means replacing human effort with machines, but much of human progress began by learning how to aim human effort better. A rope, a ramp, a lever, a wet path, a stone tool, a straight line, a crew moving together. Nothing about that sounds impossible until you look up and see what it became. So the next time your brain asks how ancient builders worked without modern machines, listen carefully. The question is not what they lacked. The question is what they noticed. Because long before engines, long before cranes, long before screens and steel, your ancestors had already found the hidden controls of the physical world. They found them in gravity, in water, in sand, in wood, in rhythm, in patience. Look at a pyramid long enough and your brain starts asking a better question.